The largest stimulus bill in U.S. history.
For once, Republicans and Democrats were in agreement.
It was 96-0 in the Senate.
And the House didn't even bother with a formal vote.
The motion is adopted.
They applauded themselves. Only a few expressed objections.
$75 million to NPR, public broadcasting, ridiculous.
$25 million worth of funding for the Kennedy Performance Arts Center here in Washington, D.C. Shouldn't that money be going to masks?
The Kennedy Center has suffered greatly because nobody can go there. It's essentially closed. And they do need some funding. And I said, look, that was a Democrat request. That was not my request. But you got to give them something.
Something they got. $25 million for congressional salaries. $50 million for a museum. Few politicians ask,
how do you pay for it? We're going to borrow it from China? We're going to borrow it from Russia? We're just going to print the money?
Good questions. Our national debt is already almost $24 trillion. Now it'll jump, percentage-wise, to where Greece's debt was just before unemployment there hit 27%.
The feeling of hopelessness here seems to be spreading.
Greece was bailed out by Europe, but the United States can't be bailed out by others, so how can we pay off our debt? There are really only three options: default, print money, or raise taxes.
Raise taxes on the rich.
You can tax billionaires.
We need to tax the billionaires.
But that wouldn't solve the debt problem. Even if we took all billionaires' wealth, it would only cover about an eighth of our debt. So others on the left now say, don't worry about debt, just print money.
The U.S. government can never run out of dollars. The federal government prints dollars.
Bernie Sanders' economic advisor says that debt clock shouldn't alarm us.
It's meant to scare people, right? The national debt, tick, 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 tick. There's nothing to prevent the federal government from creating as much money as it wants to and paying it to someone.
This belief, now called modern monetary theory, has destroyed lives in many countries. Zimbabwe is a recent example. The dictator just printed more money. That meant
you had more money chasing the same goods. More money chasing the same goods meant you needed more dollars to buy the same stuff.
A batch of tomatoes will cost me 10 million Zimbabwe dollars, and a packet of onions will cost me $30 million.
The faster prices rose, the more money the government printed, and the faster prices rose.
It got so bad that a $100 trillion bill was worth only about 40 cents.
The economic disaster in the once prosperous Southern African country.
Inflation also wrecked lives in 1920s Germany, Argentina, Russia, and Venezuela. Finally, there's choice 3. America could just default. But that would eliminate the savings of everyone who invested in America, and it wouldn't solve our problems. When Argentina defaulted, its economy fell apart. Unemployment reached 21%. Once you're deep in debt, none of the options is good. How did we fall so deep in debt when for years politicians have said they'd reduce our deficit?
We have piled deficit upon deficit, mortgaging our future and our children's future. We must act today in order to preserve tomorrow.
We got to deal with this big long-term debt problem or it will deal with us.
But they didn't deal with it. They just talked about it.
Take out a credit card from the Bank of China in the name of our children, driving up our national debt that we are going to have to pay back. That's irresponsible.
$20 trillion. It doubled under President Obama.
And if you include the current stimulus, it's increased even faster under Trump.
It's not compassionate to bankrupt America, but that's the path we're on.
Congressman Warren Davidson's a Republican, but that's your party doing it.
It's not one party. You didn't get $23 trillion in debt because one party's good on the issue and the other isn't.
I interviewed Davidson before the pandemic. You voted for some spending bills, billions for the FCC. Why do we even need an FCC?
Well, who else would be able to regulate speech if there wasn't an FCC?
Right, we don't need an FCC, and you voted for this bill.
Well, you don't get a vote for precise things very often. There are things in these appropriations that do need funded.
At least Davidson usually votes against big spending.
We are on a path to bankrupting our country.
We are. But today, most politicians only talk about spending more.
Making sure that we spend the kind of money we need to spend.
We have to do more.
A new stimulus package.
$2 trillion. We redo our roads, our highways, our bridges.
Our government's giving out loans and grants right now. We won't apply for any. We don't think it's right. So more than ever, to keep these videos coming, we depend on you. Please contribute. Press that button.